Good morning, Ireland. I'm just descending out of the hills down to Irwin, Tennessee. Sort of the first glimpse of it. You can possibly make out the town through the trees. Not really. It's over there. So I'm going to pick up a couple of days of food there, then head back into the hills. And I think I have a 2-day or so hike to a town called Rowan Mountain, and that'll probably be my next bunk room or hostel or whatever, laundry, etc. But everything's going good. Last night went sub-freezing again, but I have to say I was fine. I was snug, layered up. It was still wet though this morning, so it's still kind of damp and cold, but it's okay. It's all part of the fun. Catch you later. Wow, some more train porn for Roy. It's the first time I've done this. Actually crossed the railway line. Yeah, cool. So tonight, Easter Sunday, I got my first solo wild camp. Wasn't quite my plan. I thought there'd be more people here. So this is a recognised campsite. As you can see, we're sort of under snow. It's a bit cold, but the temperature's supposed to increase. We're up at about 5,000 feet. And just getting some dinner going. Got my tent going, got my sleeping pad blown up. Just gotta kill my jet boil. Oi, oi, oi. And get some food into me. Quite a long day. Did about, I don't know, good 18 miles or so today. Looking forward to a good sleep. I'm tired. Catch you tomorrow. Good morning, Ireland. It is Monday, April 22nd. This is day 30. I hope everybody at home has, by the time you've heard this, had a nice public holiday and chilled, finished off your Easter eggs, yummity yum. Wish I was there enjoying it with you. So last night, you saw I just camped in a snowy area. I was the only person there. It was right at the top of a 5,000 foot mountain, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was lovely and quiet. I slept like a log. Definitely the best sleep I've had in over a month. Had even had a lie on. My alarm went off at 7:15. I turned it off and I fell asleep again till about, I don't know, 9:30. And I ended up not leaving camp until after 11, which was kind of nice. So I'm on my way to a shelter called something like Curtis Smith. It's not Kurt Smith, something Smith shelter. I'm probably about halfway there. It makes it a 14-mile day. It's a little lower than I wanted, but there's no shelters or camping areas for quite a distance after that. So the last 3 or 4 or 5 days have been really good. I've clocked up some really good mileage. So I don't mind having a, I don't know what they call that one, 3/4 day today, maybe. It's not a short day, but I think it's 13.7 miles. So everything's going great. I managed to get a little spider bite on my leg, which has stiffened up a little part of my shin, which is a bit of a nuisance. So there's an ENT guy that by sheer chance I met at the last shelter that I passed through, where I was just getting some lunch, and he gave me a little stingy wipe thing for it, so hopefully that helps. It's kind of weird. Kind of reminds me of the feeling I had in my foot when we were on holidays earlier in January, where the area around a little sort of bite area just got really sort of stiff and painful. Ooh, that was close. By the way, I've fallen twice so far. Neither time was while I was filming. I didn't edit it out or anything. The first time was actually only a few days in. I was looking for a water source and I glanced up towards the shelter and didn't notice a root in front of me. Thankfully I wasn't wearing my pack at the time, but I just ended up flat in my face. No big deal, and no one saw me. That was good, I got away with it. And the other one was just in the mud a few days ago in that bad storm. It was just impossible to sort of walk without sliding all over the place. So ended up on my backside, which was no big deal. A bit muddy, but the rain was so heavy it kind of washed off within minutes. So. However, there you go, little lessons. Okay, so I'm on my way, but I'm 2 days away, but on my way to a town called Rowan Mountain, where I'll resupply. So I've got the 13.7 today, probably mid-teens again tomorrow, and then I've a sort of a, I don't know, a 6 or 7 mile walk into Rowan Mountain, and then resupply and then get straight out of there again and back on the trail. So everything's going great. Hope everybody's happy. If I could think of any questions. Oh, someone did ask, having seen other people's videos of the AT, I'm just going down some wet steps here. Kind of nice. Seeing other people getting kind of washed out of it, that they're struggling to keep their stuff dry, and asked how I was faring out in that regard. So I would say pretty well. The one thing that I detest and I don't do well is keeping my my tent fly sheet dry. So you know, when you're wrapping that up, when it's been raining all night, it's still raining while you're packing up. That's just a soggy mess. So I tend to strap it to the outside of my pack, and hopefully by that evening it's sort of dried off a bit. In terms of all my clothes and everything, I have everything in individual dry bags within my pack, and I have a rain cover on my pack. So the precious items, like your sleeping clothes, they never ever get near water, so they only come out when I'm in the tent. You've got to keep those really precious and never ever wear them or be tempted to wear them. They are your kind of fallback if it's really cold and wet. At least you have those to get into that night. And then the rest of my clothes, not that there's many, but I always have a spare set of socks, a spare t-shirt. I don't have spare trousers, I do have spare shorts. I have 2 pairs of shorts actually. So I do have that, and I keep those in a separate dry bag as well. The other important thing, of course, is the sleeping bag. That has its own individual dry bag, and I keep a rag kind of under it to soak up any moisture that will gather in the end of my pack. So on that stuff I've done okay. The tent, I don't know whether there's any avoiding that issue, but overall I'm not unhappy with that stuff. So there you go. Hopefully that answers that question. Catch you later. Good morning. So that mountain right there is where I pitched my tent in the snow the night before last, which was kind of nice. That was something like 52, 70 feet. So this morning, it's April 23rd, Tuesday, so this is day 31. I've just left camp. It's a beautiful morning. Just to show how the weather changes. So I woke up in snow yesterday morning. Today it's shorts and t-shirts, so it's going to be a nice day. So I'm on my way up to the last, I think it's close on 6,000 footer for quite some time, hundreds of miles. The going should get a little easier. I'm hoping to make up a bit of mileage. I'm not quite on the pace I want it to be on, but everything's good. Shared the shelter with a couple of nice guys yesterday. Had a river wash, which was nice. Can't get the fingernails clean, it's really difficult. My feet were just disgusting yesterday from all the mud. over the previous couple of days, and there was no water supply at the previous campsite, so I had 2 days of muddy feet to wash off yesterday, which was nice to do it. So there you go. Bit of a tough day ahead. Got to get over this Rowan mountain, and then I've one more night in the hills, and then I'm going to stay, if I can get a reservation, at a hostel called the Station at 19E. Just get a laundry done, get a shower, get a resupply either there, or I believe they run a shuttle into a town somewhere. So yeah, and then it's probably 4 or 5 days to get to Damascus in Virginia. So looking forward to that. Should pass the 400-mile marker possibly tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the day after. The hostel is at mile 395, so it's probably just, yeah, it'll be the morning after. Okay, cool. Catch you later. So that's Carver's Gap, little touristy area. That road junction's at 5512 feet. It's quite a nice view when you get above it, as you can see. So that's Rowan Mountain, where I've come from. That's 6270 feet. I'm now on a nice pleasant little patch called Round Bald. It's a lovely view from here. Some touristy people up here for the day. So the next point, which is, where's my finger? Just there, is called Jane Bald. And then from there we sort of stay at the same elevation. I think we head off to the right. It's all rather pleasant. There's the full 360. So it's day 32. That makes it April 24th. Good morning, Ireland. So this is a converted barn called the Over Mountain Shelter, where I stayed last night. Most people who came here ended up camping up in a field up the way, which suited me because it's good for virus control. So there's just 3 of us on this platform here, 2 older guys who walked in with some trail magic, so they weren't actually through hikers, so I figured they'd be safe enough to hang around with. So struck gold with trail magic last night. We had 3 lots, and the 2 guys that came in got a fire going there, and they brought in hot dogs and Doritos and buns and mustard and stuff. And then this was left behind by the family of a guy who died last year while preparing for the AT. This guy Jack Winfield Ross got cancer while he was preparing and died. So they leave these boxes here which are full of you know, energy bars and meals. So the etiquette is you take 1 or 2. I think it says take a few and leave some for others. So I had 1 last night and 1 this morning. They're quite nice. And then 2 other guys came in, 2 experienced hikers, and they had beers for everybody. So I had a couple of beers with them, and they even came back and took everybody's rubbish away. Not only the beer cans, but any rubbish that you already had. So that was cool. It's like waiting for a bus, and 3 came along together. So that was very nice last night. Very pleasant evening. Okay, talk to you later. So you might remember, get my finger going, just there is the place that's called Jane Bald, which I passed over yesterday. And then you can see a ridge line that comes down here over onto this peak and then follows this ridge down here, and then we drop through the trees here to get down to the barn, which is right there. That's where I stayed last night. That was a great evening. Okay, so because the air is so clear, I can give a sort of 24-hour showing of where I've been walking. Get my little pointy stick here. So that peak right there is Rowan Mountain. That's the 6,270 foot mountain that I was up yesterday. So yesterday morning I woke up about 5 or 6 miles past that on the far side of that mountain. So we came up that mountain and then we came down into this valley. There's a track, I don't know whether it's visible on screen, there's a track down here. And then we went up onto what are known as the Balds. So that one just there is Round Bald. That was the first one. Then you continue down into a saddle and then back up onto this one here, which was Jane Bald. And then we came down this ridge, dropped down into the valley on the other side of this green area, which is where the barn was. And then this morning we came back up onto that ridge and climbed up onto this mountain here, which is called Little Bump or Little Hump Mountain. And then we followed that ridge line over here, down into these trees, and then there's a track that you might be able to pick out just there. Had a nice little fall just here where it's flooded, and then I'll just come up here. So that's the story of my last sort of 25 hours, 36 hours. Yeah, catch you later. Not a bad backdrop, eh? So, I thought I'd deal with 2 questions. One question came from Mark. Thanks, Mark. Hope you're doing okay. And the question was, can you or does anybody basically forage? So is there, berries, mushrooms, anything that you can eat on the trail that grows wild? The short answer is yes. I don't know what it is, but I do hear about a lot of people foraging. I certainly haven't seen anything that resembled berries or mushrooms. I did hear about a couple of hikers that have come out with like a gun and a bow and nothing else, and they're planning on just living off the land. I don't know what they're going to live off. I haven't seen any animal bigger than, well, apart from birds, anything bigger than squirrels. I wouldn't want to be eating those. So yeah, but I think maybe as we get closer to summer, there'll probably be more wild strawberries and stuff. Certainly if I see them, if I'm confident about what they are, I'll try them and I'll show them on the video as well. So good question, thanks. And the other one was, I think this one was from Roy. I think it was one of Roy's many questions. Thanks, Roy. Yes, it was my perception of what the Appalachian Trail was going to be like. How did that match up to the reality of it? Well, it matched up pretty well, because as those close to me, and Roy's also close to me, as you know, I've watched hundreds of YouTube videos on this stuff over the last couple of years. I've read quite a few books, so there wasn't really going to be much that surprised me. I think probably mildly surprised at exactly how many mountains you actually climb. Like, this is day 32. I mean, I must average, if you think in terms of what Wicklow is like, and what I would call a mountain in Wicklow, I mean, I probably climb I don't know, 8 a day. You know, I've climbed hundreds of mountains, and some of them, as I've mentioned, are, you know, a few of them probably, I can't remember how many there's been, over 6,000 feet. There's been 4 or 5, and there's probably been, I don't know, 20 plus that are well over 5,500 feet. The one I'm coming down, the two this morning were over 5,000 feet. Yesterday I was on 3 that were over over 5,500 feet. So the sheer quantity of individual mountains, because I mentioned before, one of the things here, what they call PUDs, pointless ups and downs. Pointless is a bit cruel. I mean, it is the general idea of getting out and hiking is to get up and down mountains, but you do go sort of fully up each individual mountain and fully down it. You know, you could go up a 5,000 foot mountain and come all the way down to 2,000 feet before you start climbing again. So that's very, very tiring. So there you go. There's 2 questions answered. Good ones. Talk to you soon. Waka 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 waka.